This video might piss some people off, but I kind of agree with Joe Rogan in some sense. I know a lot of people love GSP and he's their GOAT, but I'm about to piss a lot of you guys off. I made a comment under somebody's video saying I think Masvidal is the better natural fighter and GSP is the better athlete and martial artist. Now, this was the kick during GSP's career. I followed it, I lived through it, I experienced it, I lived in the comment section boards just like I am now. The knock on GSP was always the skill level, that he was a strong roid head with a jab and a power double that laid on people. He didn't flow grapple, he didn't pass through people's guard, he didn't counter strike in the pocket, he can't slip and rip, he can't counter a punch and return a punch like Masvidal can. And say like the armbar that he pulled off was one of the ugliest arm bars I've ever seen in MMA to this day, and it looked like he didn't know what he was doing to finish it. So when I say Masvidal is the better natural fighter, he grew up fighting in the streets and could knock people out without hardly any training, where GSP got beat up and bullied and like that's why he started training MMA, because he wasn't naturally good at it. He couldn't defend himself. GSP lost a lot of first rounds to people. He lost every first round to BJ Penn, lost to Matt Hughes, Matt Serra, got beat up by Johnny Hendricks. The thing is, what you'll never see happen to Masvidal, even though he got dominated by Colby Covington, he'll never look like GSP did post-fight speech versus Johnny Hendricks because his defense is different. Like, defensively, he knows how to stay sound and protect himself. Now, given they've both been knocked out, everybody can get caught, but you'll just never see somebody beat the fuck out of Masvidal like Johnny Hendricks did GSP. But GSP won. I mean, if you're a UFC nut hugger and you actually honestly think and believe that. GSP got butchered from Carlos Condit's guard. And then in hindsight, if you look at Carlos Condit's record, it's not that it hasn't aged too well on the people that started dominating him on the ground. The same thing with Nick Diaz, maybe his best win of his career. Nick Diaz couldn't wrestle. We love the Diaz brothers, but one of the most overhyped GOAT conversations of all time. And look how his career aged and wins aged over him, right? So when you talk about skill level and natural fighter ability, you'll never see GSP flow grappling, like passing guard, sweeping, taking it back, being on bottom. He's a very muscular frame guy. In my opinion, took off and ran from Asada. Like, he wanted to complain about Vada, Asada, but then took off the minute it happened. I get it. He's taken a lot of damage, wants a free time, stressed out, was top of the world forever, being UFC's, main show. But I don't think I would ever see Jake Shields outbox Masvidal for 2 rounds. I don't think a guy like Matt Serra could KO Masvidal. Now, given Usman did, and that's because he had his hands down, acting all cocky, and feinted the 1-2 right before he hit him with it the third time. But I'm just saying, natural fighter ability, I think Masvidal is just the more natural skilled fighter. And that's what he relies most off of. Like, he is a fat lightweight competing at welterweight only because of his skill level, nothing else. Like, his natural fighter ability, he's learned to pick up takedown defense and things like that that complement his natural fighter ability, where GSP's having to learn how to fight with his mixed martial arts skills and his strength and his wrestling. Like, it's not, he learned how to wrestle to take people down. He learned how to reset and set just shots at range and reset the fight and reset a mixed martial arts competition. It's not necessarily, you will never see him just sit in the pocket. That's not his thing. So it's hard to get people to understand what I'm saying here. But Joe Rogan was saying that Masvidal is better than GSP and this generation's better. And this is a video, I think, of Weasel I took a screenshot from. I haven't watched the video. I don't watch Weasel really anymore. But I'm not sure if Masvidal beats GSP, but it would be an interesting match. But I just think it would look similar to the Usman Masvidal. It's just guys like Masvidal and Diaz. They're not wrestlers. They're not athletes. That's not what they do. They just come in to fight, like the natural fighter. Like that, they've learned skills to help them fight. They're not martial artists or athletes. So, but they're an MMA fighter. Yeah, some of these guys are just fighters that are training in gyms and shit like that. It's not. But what are you saying? They're a UFC fighter. They're a mixed martial artist. So you have Masvidal competing with welterweights, like guys that are just bigger and stronger than him, like because he's a fat, lazy Cuban that likes food. GSP's more disciplined. Like, say you put Masvidal in GSP's body, what are you going to get? Like, he'd be almost impossible to beat. You're not taking him down. He's going to outbox you. He's going to beat you the fuck up. You put GSP and Masvidal in the exact same body, I think Masvidal beats the fuck out of GSP. That's the argument. Because if you make everything else even, who wins the fight? I think Masvidal wins the fight. And that's what we mean just by skill level. It's kind of like the pound for pound conversation. If they were all the same size and same strength and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Masvidal is just not a natural welterweight. So, but then you look back at GSP's career, it's really overrated in my opinion. He should have that loss to Johnny Hendricks. He lost a lot of rounds, he got beat up, dropped, all these different things. That's why I don't consider him the GOAT. But yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of GSP because of the skill level reasons. Now, did he win? Yes, but he always chose the path of least resistance. He would just jab wrestlers and then take down strikers and just lay on them and then bore the shit out of people. Like, if you're that much better and that much more skilled, why are you just sitting in somebody's guard and just using head pressure like from John Danaher? It just, to me, looked like somebody who's just stronger than everybody else. And that's what Nick Diaz talked about. Like, he's just holding people down. He can't hurt me. And the same thing I said about Leon and Usman. Usman can't hurt Leon. He's just literally holding him against the cage and throwing 1-2s and pressure fighting. That's what GSP does. He sets at range, throwing jabs, and then shoots power doubles because he's super athletic. It's athleticism and martial arts training, not natural fighter ability. So somebody made a video going, in what world is Joe Rogan possibly right? And I'm explaining to you here what Joe Rogan's talking about. So I hope this puts a little bit of conception on the subject, but yeah, I would take GSP in that fight by decision, but I think Masvidal would look better at the end of the fight. As far as like facial bruising and shit like that, I don't think GSP would do too much damage to him. He'll win the match though. And I had made some comments under the guy's video, and then somebody else made a video going, being a narcissist, and then I started commenting all the reasons because he made the video responding to my comments, and then he blocked me from commenting because I have a character limit, and he's like telling me not to spam. Well, it's TikTok. Blame TikTok, don't blame me, because all this won't fit into one little comment. Even though I can modify the comment over and over and over again and try to fit as much knowledge into one comment or 2 to 3 comments, I couldn't fit this video all into like 5-6 comments. So blocking me from commenting, but making narcissistic videos about me and then not allowing me to comment. What the fuck is that? Come on, guys. Like, we can have open discussions. I think I make some pretty valid points here. What do you guys think?